Hi, I'm Cl3OH, JoLison, and welcome to another episode of Opinions Unlimited. My topic tonight, wait, hold on really quickly. Before I get to my topic, I just want to say, this has just been on my mind all week, so I saw it somewhere yesterday. You know how when teenage boys first start growing facial hair, and then it's like all patchy, and they feel like they should grow out a mustache and a little bit of a beard? Yeah, we need to stop that. That is so unattractive. It's the most unattractive thing. And I've been seeing it more and more lately, and it's just hideous. Okay, now that I've gotten that off my chest, today's topic is something very important to me, something that I haven't discussed yet, but I said last week I was going to do a show about this: local music and local talent in general. The reason this is so important to me is because my dad is a musician. He's a guitarist. He's a great guitarist. He's been making music since I was a little girl. I've grown up with that sound. And not just like acoustic-y, bluesy stuff. I'm talking like really good, like rock music. So when people talk about music and what it is, music has been important to me ever since I was little. It's kind of funny to me that I've ended up a dancer, which goes like hand in hand with music. So yeah, this is what I've grown up with in my house. The guitar was always playing, music was always around, especially the first few years of my life. I remember sometime I would just listen to his music throughout the day when he was at work, and I'll just be really, really excited waiting for him to come home. Because, I was a good little kid. Now it interests me how much times have changed. Like, I always do comparisons of this generation versus our parent generation, the good things we have. I probably said this type of thing before. I'm going to keep saying it. The opportunities we have now, there is no excuse not to do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to accomplish. There's no reason not to. Nowadays, most bands that I listen to that are local, they go on, they put their music online, they use the power of social networking sites, they use Twitter, they promote their music. There's even a lot more independent record companies that are online-based, web-based, and a lot of music blogs, a lot of social networking sites that are music-based, like what is that, Reverb Nation and those kind of things. So nowadays, musicians have way more of a chance than people did in my dad's generation. My dad's generation, nobody's going to go online, and look up a certain artist. Were they barely even using computers back then? That wasn't going to happen. You had to go find some record deal. You had to go find some person, which to me is stupid because no matter what type of art is made, there's going to be somebody who likes it. There are some people who literally think that Friday by Rebecca Black is a good song. While I may disagree, that's their choice. There's going to be a type of art for everybody. Regardless of what you make, somebody out there is going to like it. You just have to find your fan base. And I think that it's kind of just amazing how many more opportunities we have in this generation than our parents did. There's no excuses anymore at this point. I always think how much different would our lives be now if my dad was a super famous musician. But my point right now is, since things are different, since we do have a better opportunity in this generation, I feel it is our right and our obligation, our responsibility to support local talent. I believe that that's so important because these bands need a chance. They need somebody to pay attention to them. They're doing as much work as they can do. They're getting their music out there. Now all they need is a following. All they need is a fan base. A few things I want to point out is, I was just looking up this band that I want to see in concert this summer. This is a local band. And I was asking the guy on the phone, how much are tickets? He's like, well, 10 to 20 bucks. Maybe if you show up on the night of the show, we'll get them out for 8 bucks. Or maybe it'll go up to 30. But it should be within 10 to 20 bucks. Then I call the queue for this other concert that's coming up, My Chemical Romance. I really want to get to that concert. I don't know if I will. But I called them and asked the woman how much it would be for 2 tickets altogether. And altogether, she told me, including the fee, it would be like $167.92, I think. So it's almost 200 bucks for me to go see that show if I get to see it this fall. And I started thinking to myself, isn't it odd that the bands that are already super famous, their tickets are like a ton of money, and the bands who are local who need the money, their tickets are like pennies on the dollar? And it's even worse because even if a major band, which again, My Chemical Romance should be able to charge that much, okay, because they're an amazing band, and they started off just like a lot of these other bands that I'm talking about that are still local. In fact, they gained their following on Reverb Nation after 9/11 happened, if you know your band facts. But still, even if My Chem had a concert and they charged 10 bucks per ticket, well, 1,000, 2,000 people are still going to show up to see them because every time they give a concert, it's a packed house. People are crowded in, people are flooded in. And yet, with a local band, if they charge more money, they should have the right to because fewer people are going to show up. So I don't understand why local bands, I've been noticing, you can download their music for free, you can get their tickets for dirt cheap, you can get merchandise for pennies on the dollar, and yet these super famous bands who already have like $1 million charge you tons and tons of money for tickets, merchandise, and you can't even think of downloading their music without paying for it. Now, the real reason that all of that is happening is because usually the super famous bands do have record companies behind them, and those people need to get paid X amount of money. But I think it's ridiculous. It's the local bands who need more money, who need more support, who need more promotion, and yet they're not half as dare I say, greedy as these bands that are already super famous who don't really need it. I think that a little more effort should be put into finding these bands and supporting them. And I know some kids who say something like, but how do you find them? How do you... Look, go through your high school, look at people who have left your school a couple of years ago who are in college now. It is not hard to find local bands. In fact, a lot of these websites, if you go on them and you sign up, a lot of times they'll tell you, well, these are really popular bands in your area. It's not hard to find local talent. If you look, there are tons of local musicians, local artists, local dancers, local dance studios. There's so many people who are just trying to take their talent, take what they're passionate about, and make it. And we love that kind of story. We love that kind of thing, but we don't give enough support to it. The main people who support bands usually are just people who are their closest relatives or closest friends. But I think that these groups, these artists should have more support and more like fan base outside of that. Here's something I really wish would happen, which I don't see it happening, but I wish it would happen. I wish the Q, the Quicken Loans Arena, and several other major concert venues, the big places that host big concerts, I wish they would do a week, dare I say a month, I would love a month, but at least a week where they feature local bands all throughout the Northeast Ohio area, and same for every other state out there. Just do a week of showcasing local bands. Let them come in and perform every night. And the reason they would never do something like that is because they don't think it would generate the money. Because for them to take an entire week for that, they'd have to cancel other big artists like, Britney Spears or Nicki Minaj or Rihanna. They'd have to cancel them and let these local people come in. And I understand that places like this need to generate a certain amount of money or they won't be open, and that will create even more problems for a city. I get that. But if we stepped forward as young people and showed, hey, excuse me, we will pay to see these shows, we will buy tickets for these concerts, we will show up, that will give them some incentive and think it would build up some money. It would be really nice to see that. It would be really nice to see somebody like my dad, who simply has a good talent, have the opportunity to play at a concert venue like that. That would be amazing, and I think that's something that should be considered. And people always talk like, oh, but I like this star, I like that star. Where were they a few years before? Everybody you see in front of you that's really famous in the music industry now started off local, started off in their high school, started off with a dream, started off trying. Even, I don't like him, but even Justin Bieber started off right there on YouTube, and people clicked and people watched and it progressed. Charisse, the girl who makes the guest appearances on Glee, she's another amazing singer who started off from YouTube. So I just feel like we have the responsibility and the ability to pay more attention to these artists, pay more attention to these bands. I think it's something that really needs to be done. It's very important. It's something that I'm very passionate about, like I said, because of the situation that I've grown up in. And I was just looking around at the price differences. And there's a few people I happen to know right now who are musicians, and I just hope that with things being different in this generation than they were back in my dad's generation, I hope that they will get the opportunity to become major successes. And we need to make sure that none of us are ever spoon-fed, that we don't just watch what's on TV because it's all that's on TV, that we don't just listen to music that's on the radio and think that there's nothing else out there. There's always something else out there. And with the power of the internet, if you're going to be on the internet, use it for something good. Use it to find these things. Use it to yeah, just use it to look into something more relevant. I hope I've gotten my point across, and I hope that everybody understands what it is that I'm saying. Yeah, I hope that I've explained myself very well. I hope that everyone will just hear what I'm saying, just take a little bit of time out their day to look at some of these bands that I'm talking about. And if you want me to send you some of those, inbox you some of those, or put them in the description, I certainly will. I actually promised everybody earlier this morning on Facebook, on my homepage and on the page of the show, that I was going to have a special treat for you tonight, and I do. I certainly do, and I'm going to be filming that next, and I'm going to upload it, so it's going to be in the suggestions right next to this video. Thank you for watching this episode of Opinions Unlimited. This one was kind of brief because the point is very simple. There is so much talent out there that's local and needs so much support. So just look out for it. Just give it some attention. Just give it some YouTube views. Just promote it. Another great way to promote local artists, last thing I just want to tell you, is making their album art your profile picture. That's a great thing to do, and I've been doing that for like the past 4 artist EPs that I've downloaded. I've just made their art my profile picture, and I think that's something really good that we all can do to show our support and going to the concerts and buying the merchandise. So I hope that some of these things that I've said will resonate with some people. I could just think about a few people that are going to give me a high five for this episode, but I don't do it for that. I do it because this is what I really feel. That this is a very important thing that should be addressed. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching the show. I'll be uploading a new one each week. And again, the special surprise that I promised is going to be coming up next. So thank you so much for watching Opinions Unlimited, and you have an awesome weekend. Where is my cameraman? It's supposed to be a cameraman here to turn this off. Hold on. I need, how do I push that button?
Which one?
My mom has to be my cameraman because my brother wandered off, so my mom's going to push the button now.
Which
okay.
button?
Thank you. Mom, the button on the side there.
This
it
one?
says record. Okay.
This
Thank
one?
you for watching Opinions Unlimited. Bye.